Hello. Oh, Mosley's out of here. Oh. Okay, Mosley does not want to be part of the book club today. How are you doing? How's it going? Good morning, good evening. How is everyone's day so far? Or night? Hello. Good afternoon. Oh, already? So soon? Okay. Oh, yeah. Let me just make sure. Yeah. Okay, we're live.
Scott 1000 last 2 times.
Bro, I literally put you on mute. Just making sure everything's working on my phone. Okay, yes. I think we're good. Okay. Nice. Okay. Yes. Did it destroy you a little bit? Come with me. It's a good one. That's a good one. That's an excellent book. What is everyone currently reading? And I was a mess at the end of that one too, for sure. Anybody reading anything good? I just started a book called, are my glasses going to be annoying? I think it's called my glasses are going to be kind of annoying, huh? I think it's called the Gracier or something. I just started it last night, and it is I think it's a thriller, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, it's part of a book club that my friends selected that one for this month. So I just started that one last night. Through the Eyes of Desperation? What is that? Oh, Desperation. The red version. What does that mean? There's different versions? Or is that just what it's called? Oh, okay. So probably more like extreme kind of book, I'm assuming. Where else? Lovely Skin. I don't know what that is either. I'm always so curious to see what people are reading. Sometimes I just Googled Lovely Skin and a bunch of skincare came up. Book. Sometimes I saw this. The cover really intrigued me. But yeah, I think that's why I didn't read it, because I found out that it was a YA, but that cover, really cool. Almost done with Victorian Psycho, or hello, Richard. I hope you're doing well. Are you feeling better? Camp Damascus. It's been a pretty busy month. It's been, everyone that I've talked to, it's been just a busy month, so I don't know what this is either. Our Wives Under the Sea. I have no idea what this is. I've never even heard of this. Anyway, sometimes I go on Goodreads and just see what everyone's reading. And sometimes you guys read some weird stuff. And I am all here for it. I've never seen this one. No, Camp Damascus isn't extreme horror. It's just more just like it's actually a pretty mild horror book. Oh, okay. Oh, good. You're finally getting better. I don't know what illness is going around, but people are getting sick for a very long time. It's been a weird year. My birthday was fine. Yeah, it was fine. No, it's like a serious book. It's like about a actually, I don't know if I would give it away if I say that. I don't know what the No, but it's his first like serious novel. Um Oh yeah, no. It's about a gay conversion camp. It does say it on the thing. Ooh. Oh. Oh. No. Okay, we're good. Um how did you guys enjoy Victorian Psycho? This is what brought us here today. And I did ask and make sure that we weren't flipped, that the screen wasn't backwards, so I think we'll be good today. Are my glasses annoying? I feel like it's annoying wearing glasses with the light on. Okay. Now I can't really read though. This is gonna be a problem. It might just have to be annoying because I thought I would be able to see 2 feet away, but apparently I cannot. Okay. Ooh. I am made of death. That just sounds cool. Oops. I've never heard of this one either. Again. This cover is so cool. See, this is why I like seeing what everyone's reading, because you guys are always reading some interesting stuff. And then sometimes I find some really weird books, and I'm like, oh, that's right up my alley. Oh, it's about a coda? Marilla. Oh, guys, we're starting early. Marilla's already on something. Okay. So Victorian Psycho is too short. You wanted more. All right. You enjoyed it. Oh, interesting. Not as extreme as I expected it to be. Okay. No. Chrissy, honesty is what matters here. And yeah, I like reading this one. I'm like, this will not be for everyone. And that's okay. That's why we do this. Interesting. Okay, it was pretty good. It was hilarious. Okay, I found it very funny too. Yes, yes. Oh, okay. See, I had not heard anybody talk about this book going in. So I didn't know at all what it was about. And so that makes sense that other people said that it was extreme and you didn't feel like I didn't think it was too bad, but I did find it hilarious. Oh, yeah, I did find it hilarious. Okay. Let me pull up my notes here. Wait, but who was saying? Oh, I guess that's okay though. Because by the time we get to the ending. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, there's not really comparing this to a book like American Psycho or something. It's mild in comparison to that, certainly. Um, oh, I haven't even, to be honest, I haven't even looked at the Goodreads. I just finished this last night. So usually with book club books, I finish them like at least a week before, but I finished this one last night. So I haven't even looked it up and seen what other people were. Oh yeah, that's the book I'm reading now. It's called The Gracier. So I haven't even seen what other people were saying about it. Actually, let's look through reviews. That would be funny. Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. Like this first rating says bumping it up to 5 stars because I cannot stop thinking about it. I love those books where you're just like, oh, that was a good book. And then a week, 2 weeks later, you're still thinking about it. This one says, holy hell in a handbasket. What did I just read? Okay. Blew my mind. Wonderfully perverse. That's a good way of putting it. Absolutely unhinged. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Yeah, it seems like people found it pretty intense, which is interesting. What a sick, twisted, disgusting story. And I mean that in the best way possible. Whoa, 1 star. Let's see what this 1 star review says. It just doesn't seem like it was for this person. They said that they like getting to know characters, watching them struggle and grow. This for sure is, yeah, this isn't like a character arc type of story. So if that's what you're seeking, I can see why you would be disappointed. But I liked that about it. I liked that it was I mean, she's kind of like a, oh, let me pull up my notes. I guess we can start at the beginning. First of all, is anybody here that hasn't read the book? Oh, good. You liked the Gracier book. I just started it last night. I'm only like 20 or 30 pages in. Oh, interesting. This book. Do you think this book could have been made or could be made into a Tim Burton film? So that would definitely be interesting. It is actually being made into a film, and no, don't apologize. No, no, no. No, you're totally. I only asked that so I can, because I don't want to just talk about parts of the book but not give you an idea of what's going on in the story. So I only ask so I can give you like a synopsis of the story. But yeah, you're more than welcome to be here if you've read the book or not. But yeah, it's being made into a film already. What's it called? Victorian Psycho. Which is impressive because it was only out this year, and this writer has only written, from my understanding, one other book. So impressive that it's being made into a movie. And I saw so much of it in my head play out. So I'm very excited to see it be made into a movie. It's directed by Zachary Wigan. I have no idea who this is. I don't know anybody's name. Oh yeah, just looks like directed some shorts. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting. But it looks like if you look up the IMDb page, there's not really much up here. So it seems like they're just kind of getting started on it. But I am so excited to see this be made into a movie. Oh, yeah, like Sweeney Todd. Interesting. Oh, jeez. Sorry, I'm getting a scam call. How rude. Okay, you want the link to the IMDb page? Oh my gosh, why do I keep forgetting what it's called? There's not too much information on it, but here's the link. Can you click links from here? Yeah, I think so. Okay. That's what I was thinking of. So is the Miss March book, first of all, because that's the first book that she wrote, is that a horror book too? Yeah, so and they have cast her, right? Because that's what you said. Margaret Qualley? Is that how you pronounce that name? She's, oh no. No, yeah. Yeah. So they only have two cast members listed. Margaret Qualley as Winifred Naughty, and then Thomasin McKenzie as Miss Lamb. It's definitely going to be interesting. Oh, okay, so it's not a horror book. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay, so I guess, like, just as a quick synopsis, basically the story is just about this woman named Winifred Naughty who goes to work at a house as like they don't call it a nanny, but essentially a nanny. I mean, that's kind of really the whole synopsis of the story. That's right. And then we just learn weird things about this character throughout the book, and that's kind of it. Oh, I'm not sure who Thomasin is. I don't know anybody's name. I don't know any movies. I'm very out of the loop on everything. I'm positive I haven't seen. Oh, Old. I saw Old. I saw that. It was a interesting movie, but okay, so first of all, the prologue of this book. Okay, I picked this up. Okay, so, well, I guess I'll just say I really enjoyed this one. Probably no surprise to you guys. But I loved the idea of having a book set in the Victorian era, just surrounded by death. It felt almost like, you know how a lot of people say movies or books or whatever are love letters to a certain thing? It almost felt like anti-love letter to the Victorian era in a lot of ways. But this prologue in here, death everywhere, death in the river, in the corpses floating upstream and down, in the bellies of the things feasting upon them, death in the drinking water, pooling into wells and unspooling within villagers as typhoid and cholera and diphtheria, death on display, okay, in the wigs of the living, of the hair of the knot, and then in dyes, in paint, in walls, death everywhere. I thought that this was such a cool opening to a book. The second I read this, I'm like, oh, I am in already. What a neat concept to have a horror book based in. I think a lot of the times we see different time periods like almost glorified in a lot of ways, you know, with like their class and their poise and their high society and stuff. So it was really cool to see the grittier side of a Victorian, like of the Victorian era. And this writer did so much work researching the Victorian era. It was cool. I learned a few things reading it, and then I remembered a bunch of stuff that I had learned about the Victorian era previously. So I like books where I have to look stuff up if I don't know what it is. And I was looking up a lot of things and learning a lot during this book as well. I've never heard of that TV show. I don't watch TV. I'm not a big TV person. I will definitely read more Irvin Welsh this year. Filth is on my list. It's over there. So I'm hoping to read that. And I'm really hoping I can get through Trainspotting too. But man, now I have 4 book clubs a month. So that's half of my reading is going to book clubs, which isn't a bad thing. And I'm definitely being introduced to books that I wouldn't typically read. But I might have to take a month off here or there and just read books for me, you know? Yes, exactly. This is what I'm talking about. It's refreshing to see the Victorian era not be romanticized. That's exactly how I felt about reading this. It was like the opposite of any peace period I've ever experienced before. Yeah, and so you get to kind of learn alongside reading it, or even just learning words. I mean, there are a lot of words that obviously you can get through context and stuff, but it was cool to Google them and see what those items were in the Victorian era. Yeah, so at the end we'll suggest books for book club, and if you want to suggest Trainspotting, I'm all here for it. Okay. And I also really enjoyed the foreshadowing in this guy too. Like she says on page 7, in 3 months, everyone in this house will be dead. You know everything from the beginning of the book. And I even went back and was looking at my notes, and there were other things that I'm like, oh, she told you exactly what was going to happen in the beginning of the story. And we just weren't paying attention. And I love that. And then she does this quite often with the foreshadowing. Not often, but there's, quite a few instances of foreshadowing in here. And, is this? Oh yeah, okay. I stroke his thin blonde mop, which is knotted with clumps of skin and brain. I can't remember if this is something from the past or if it is yet to come. She says stuff like this all the time. There's another thing in here which I didn't write down for some reason. Maybe it's in my favorite quotes or something. But she's talking about how she feels like she's being hung or whatever, and then she's like, "Oh, that hasn't happened yet." I don't know. It was an interesting way to approach a story, but I thought yes, okay, here it is. Oh my gosh, and you guys, the chapter titles were cracking me up in the beginning. Like this one says chapter 1, in which I arrive at Enser House. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. In which I meet my employers and I'm not terribly impressed. It reminded me of Friends episode titles, but in the Victorian era. I was cracking up reading these. Yes, and she randomly will break the fourth wall too. Yeah, the writing was really interesting. So my first question for you is, how did you guys think the time period impacts the story? Did you think it added to the story, took away from the story, made it different than other horror books? Or how did you feel about the being written in the Victorian era? I get a sense the main character's behavior is motivated somewhat in reaction to the repressive nature of society. Okay, yes. I definitely have thoughts related to this, certainly. You should read Sherlock Holmes if you're interested in the Victorian era. I've never read any Sherlock Holmes. You know what this kind of reminded me? I have this book. Oh, that's my anthologies. Where would I have put this book? I have this really cool book about the Victorian era, and I haven't read it yet, and it made me want to fish it out. Man, where would I have put it? Because it's not... I think it would be here. Those are just anthologies. This is... I don't think it would be here either. Where would I have put that one? Dang it, I was hoping to find it before this stream, and I just remembered right now. But it's like about the darker side of the Victorian era, and I was like, I should show you guys. And now I have no idea where it would be or where, like what shelf I would have put it on. Darn it. I'll try to remember where I put it. Man, that would have been cool. But I would totally be interested in checking out some Sherlock Holmes. Good afternoon. Oh, that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. I did a pretty bad job of reminding you guys. Usually I give multiple reminders, so totally understand. Okay. Yeah, and it's, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed, sometimes I feel like if something takes place in a different time period, it feels very not accurate, like not an accurate representation of what I feel like life would be back then. Obviously, I don't freaking know. But this one, it felt like she did enough research. Like, can I give you an example without, like, I'm not going to totally hate on this book, but I read this book. It's super popular now, but I read Lessons in Chemistry this month. This Lessons in Chemistry book. And that's how that one felt to me. It felt like it wasn't an accurate representation of life in the 60s. And it kind of irked me. Like I felt like I was reading it through the lens of someone in 2024. With this book, I felt like she had done so much research that I felt it was accurate, at least with my very little knowledge of that era, you know? And yeah, everything was... There were some horrible things that were going on around that time. Yeah, I agree with you, Nate. I think that wait, is it Nat or Nate? No, just N-A-T. Is that Nat? Correct me. But anyways, I agree with you that I think that the story would have been interesting no matter what, but having it be set in this time period really drew me in. Exactly, yeah. And from the start, we're like, oh, she's surrounded by death. And it's in everything. It's in their paint. It's in their makeup. It's in their wallpaper. It's everywhere. Exactly, yeah. Um, One question that I had too is she talks about this flayed ox painting. I should really set this up so you guys could see my screen, but I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see it from here, but you can also Google it too. But let me just see if you could see it. Oh, sorry about that, guys. You can kind of see it. This is hanging in the dining room. And I thought that this was an interesting thing to have there. And I'm curious, did you guys just see this as another little hint of foreshadowing as to what was to come? Or did you guys find a different reason for that being in the dining room? And I was also searching, she also talked about these types of paintings too. These like darker paintings with skulls in them. And so I Googled them and this image came up and I was like, that is so cool. I'm pretty sure it's Medusa because she has snakes in her hair. But anyways, I just wanted to show that to you because I was like, this is a cool freaking painting and her head's cut off. Probably you can't tell how cool it is from there, but it is cool. Jack the Ripper's identity may have finally been revealed. Wait, what? How? No, I have not heard anything about that. Oh, Nat. Sorry, not Nate. Nat. Okay. So sorry. Natalie. Okay. Wait, in the flayed ox painting, there's a creepy lady in the background? What? I didn't see a creepy lady. Wait, did I already? Okay, see. Oh, there is a lady in the background. Is it a person standing there, or is it... Or is it supposed to be a painting or a statue or... Because you're right, she is back there. And see, this is why I bring this up, because I thought you guys would have some interesting insight. And just you saying that, there's a creepy lady in the background. I'm like, oh yeah, no wonder why she used this. There's like, animal flesh being cut open and then a creepy lady standing in the back. Oh, I also like that you brought this up. One way of seeing it is that the main character sees everything, like she's kind of always lurking. Is that what you mean? Yeah. That's it. See, that's interesting. Didn't even think of that. Didn't even see that lady. I just saw the ox and I'm like, what a weird thing to have in your dining room. Oh, really? That's a cool painting. I saw that and I'm like, that is so neat. So yeah, see, this is why I love book club, because I see something and I'm like, oh, I wonder if they have a different idea of what that is. And then you guys teach me stuff. Yep, that makes a whole lot more sense of why that specific painting is used. Because for me, I was just like, okay, well, it's probably foreshadowing what's to come. all of the ripped open meat, you know? But yeah, that makes sense. Her just creeping in the back. This was also a really weird line, too. I unfasten my homemade cotton corset and, as always, am invaded by the alarming sensation of rapidly falling flesh as if it would slap against the floor if I weren't to catch it. That line, I was just like, oh. I just like the way that she, like you said earlier, it's not a romanticized version of this era whatsoever. Everything is disturbing. Wait, so who do they think Jack the Ripper is? Yes, exactly. I think even they mention Penny Dreadfuls like in the back, don't they? They say something about working men and women will forge the Penny Dreadfuls. Yeah, it definitely, yeah, I don't know how else to describe it, but a lot of it felt like it was from this time period, even though I know very little about this time period. I do have some favorite quotes, but... Oh, and then you guys always help me with the scripture type stuff because I don't know anything about religion. And then this says, in one, I'm assuming this is a painting. Are we talking about paintings? Oh, paved with blue Dutch tiles depicts the scripture. It says, in one, Isaac kneels on an altar as Abraham holds him by the hair with one hand while brandishing a knife with the other, poised to slaughter his only son upon a mountaintop. An angel half-form has descended from the clouds to stay Abraham's raised hand. I study the expression inked in blue. He seems disappointed at having been given a task by his God, only to have it wrenched from him. So I was like, you guys will be able to help me out on this. What is this about? What is this? I don't even know this. Like, what's this story? Who's Isaac? Who is the other guy? Abraham. So he was told to kill his only son? Is that what is happening here? I don't know. You guys let me know if anybody knows what that's about. A Polish barber he was a suspect? No way. Is this stupid if I Google this guy's name? Are they gonna have any like pictures or anything on him? Aaron Cos. Oh. A Polish hairdresser was a suspect in the case. Wait, that's crazy. That is so crazy. Does this make you feel less... Do you feel like Jack the Ripper will be less notorious now? Because if they figure out who it was? Or do you think it will always be a mystery because obviously the guy's long dead? And they don't know for certain. Oh, I've never read that Lemony Snicket. I've never read those. You know what I felt a little like? That this was a horror version of Mary Poppins. Okay, in the biblical story, God tests Abraham's faith by commanding him to sacrifice his son. Interesting. Okay, see, I knew you guys would be able to tell me what the heck that was about. Okay. So, God tests Abraham's faith. What would this have to do with the story? I know that her father believes she's evil and wants to get rid of her. Despite his love for Isaac and the promise of a son through whom his descendants would be numerous. Abraham prepares to obey God's command. Interesting. I'm not exactly sure. Do you guys find any connection to the story through that? I mean, it's obviously in there for a reason. But I don't know, other than like her. Oh, okay. Just as Abraham raises the knife to slay Isaac, an angel of the Lord calls out to him, telling him not to harm his son. Interesting. So it's just a test of faith? That is so crazy. But would there be any possible reason why his DNA would be on the, like, did he know the victim at all? The Comiskey guy? I don't know. Okay, yeah, faith, obedience. Huh. I'm not exactly sure what I think about that or how I think that relates to the story. That is interesting to consider. Although, you guys know, I'm not very well versed on religion. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we get all this stuff from the Victorian era. We get the wallpaper. We get the mummy parties. Did you guys know this? That this was common in the Victorian era to bring home mummies from Egypt and unravel them. That was something that they did. Have you guys researched this at all? This is something I found out about and I was like, no way that this is real. And it is. This is something that the rich did. They would have mummy parties, which, first of all, how fucking fun. Like, what a time to be alive. That is crazy. Obviously horrible and shouldn't be done, but you know what I mean. To have that just be part of your culture, that's crazy. Okay, so it says in the 19th century, this is just some random website, so, take it with a grain of salt, but it says mummy mania spread through the Western world like a colonial Tamagotchi. That's an interesting way of putting it. Okay. These Victorian high societies were soon trading their evenings watching a play for evenings at a slightly different type of theater. Mummy parties or unwrapping parties were, so they would import Egyptian mummies and yeah, they would have private parties and just unwrap them. That's insane. That's so, gosh, what a time to be alive. Oh, and it says that this isn't even the first time in history where that was a thing. It actually began in 1798. Wow. Gosh, poor Egypt. That is so crazy. Imagine having relics from your great-great-great-grandparents of just some mummy that that your family robbed their tomb. Oh, that's so crazy. Oh, I like this. I think she was just commenting on the disappointing face in the painting, like he'd worked himself up to kill, like he was ready to do it, and then he was told to stop. Okay, yeah, that makes total sense. I like that. Um, they ate them? Like the bodies? I do remember slightly that they did taste something from the mummies, but they didn't like eat the bodies, right? My knowledge on this is very, very small, but I do remember like they would grind up something and eat it or something like that. This is insane. This is so crazy. I cannot wrap my head around this happening. Okay, for medicine. Yeah, yeah. They believe they would get power from. That's so wild. No, they ate like the skin? Love this mummy. Let's bring back mummy mania. You guys down? Let's have a live stream where we consume the flesh of mummies together. Oh yeah, okay. So they ground up mummy remains and they were used for remedies. That is wild. That is wild. Oh, and then she even talks about this mummy brown paint too. Huh. I could just read about this all day. That's crazy. John Donne's poem Mummy. Is John Donne, is he the one that wrote the Flea? God, there are cat teeth marks in every old book that I own. My cat really went through a phase of eating this stuff. Yeah, the Flea. That's my favorite John Donne poem. Okay, let me see if the mummy one's in here. I do not have the mummy in here. It says the complete English poems. Where's my mummy, bro? I don't know why I don't have that one. Oh, there's more. No, that was all the poems. I don't know. I don't see that one in here. Anyways, that Flea poem is really funny. Yeah. Let's get some mummy jerky. Yeah, no, that's, I mean, just defiling a body like that is outrageous. I just can't wrap my head around it. Cleopatra's sister's tomb. I love ancient Egypt. Yeah, this is very intriguing to me. But anyways, so yeah, she did a great job, I feel like, doing her research on this era. Also, like the horror around Christmas time, wasn't that a thing in the Victorian era too, where they would tell horror stories on Christmas Eve? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because she talks about this. This mourning brooch is crazy. So I didn't know what this was, but it's just a little brooch that you wear, and then you can put, yeah, the hair of a dead loved one in there. And I think this is what she was talking about when she said his hair weaved into it. So that's pretty crazy. I learned some stuff reading this too. I thought it was pretty neat. And then obviously the coffin bells, the fainting spells, the arsenic and the green paint, blah, blah, blah. Another thing that I didn't realize was the boning in the corset thing. So in here, she says a specific name for it. 157. Like, this alone to me was worth the read, just learning about the time period and having it feel natural was worth the read alone. Oh, maybe I didn't. Oh, yeah. A scrimshaw whalebone busk hewn by a sailor for another woman. So sailors used to take whale bones and then carve these intricate drawings into them and then bring them home to their girlfriends or wives or whatever. And they would put them in their corsets. And that's why the lines in the corsets are called boning. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, that alone would be interesting to just research the supernatural aspects of the Victorian era. I wish I could find that book. I can't remember. I think it's called like the Victorian Book of the Dead or something. Let me see. Yes, that's what it's called. It's called the Victorian Book of the Dead. And I think it's just like the darker, weirder, creepier side of the Victorian era. Yeah, and their culture on death. So it would have been cool to physically show you, but it is a cool book. And now I really want to read it. They also use their dead loved ones' teeth. Oh gosh, that's wild. That is so wild. Yeah, I would have loved to just seen this for a day, you know? And then these comments. So we'll get to this in a second, but these comments of like, she is now of an age when she risks her fertility from the ravages of overeducation, says so in the Times. Do you guys hear that? It's that creepy ice cream truck again. Were you guys here last time when we did the reading thing together and there was an earthquake on the live stream? This creepy ice cream man drives by, and then I heard him another time like last week, and I looked out my window because I'm like, oh, that's the guy that I heard on that live stream. And I look out the window and there's no decorations on this van. It's just a white van creepily driving through my neighborhood. Okay, anyways, someone is gonna get murdered. Yeah, seances. There's so much that we could learn, I feel like, about this time period. But yeah, and then they also talk about women's uteruses falling out from overexertion and just the treatment, the differences between the son and the daughter in the book. I guess we can get to that now if I can find it, but this was kind of like my wrap-up point. Oh yeah, I guess I'll save that for later. Okay, I'm going to read you a few of my favorite quotes, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. Sorry, we've just really been talking about the Victorian era and not much about the book, but I really, really enjoyed that part of it. Favorite quotes. This one, I pull back by my bed covers, my bed clothes, peer underneath, satisfied that there are no monsters, but the ones I carry inside me. I open my mouth wide and attempt to catch a glimpse of the darkness within me, to spy it peeking out, slick and muscular and toothed like a lamprey swallowed whole. This is when she's talking about Andrew, the young boy. Rusted freckles sprinkle his strikingly long forehead like an indiscriminate spray of blood from a slit throat. And then she says, Fred is the name of the demon who lives inside of me. To tell a kid that is fucking wild, dude. This bitch is wild. I adore her. I really do. Oh, this is another thing that I really loved about this. Like one of you said earlier, we get to see things through her eyes. And it was lines like this. Leaves are strewn across the ground in hues of bile and blood. It's such a simple line, but when has nature ever been described in those terms? And that is how she sees everything. Like everything is just gross and ugly and somehow related to death. And I found that really interesting, like you said, seeing the world through her eyes. That I think was one of my favorite parts of the whole book. sorry, just a few more favorite quotes. There's a lot of good one-liners in here. Oh, this is the foreshadowing that I was mentioned before. She's like, these memories will stay with me forever. They will remain with me until the day I die. Right until the very end, I look down upon the shadow made by my dangling feet on the gallows floor. She tells you exactly what is going to happen from the beginning of the story. And you're still interested in seeing what's going to happen, even though you know what's going to happen. But I think also a part of me is like, is this really what's going to happen? Because she is unreliable. So I don't know. I didn't know how much I could trust her going through the story. Did you guys feel that way too? Or did you feel like you knew everyone was going to die in the beginning? You knew she was going to get hanged at the end? Or were you like, I don't know if I could trust you? Back home, we drank death. That's one of the best lines of the whole book. So good. And then she goes on to say, rain filtered through the overcrowded, crumbling graves and seeped through the layers of rotting flesh and earth, coalescing as a nearby spring that provided their town's drinking water. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Do you think she might be not all there? Oh, certainly. Yeah, she's lost her marbles for sure. But that's what I liked about her. Oh, and this is another foreshadowing. It itches from the noose, perhaps, although that hasn't happened yet. What book says stuff like that? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Oh, and then even stuff like this, like, I mean, I know that we've talked about this, the not glorifying the era, but delicately hiking up my gut-stained skirts. It's just such a cool juxtaposition between this high-class society and this, gory life. And this is how, how they were living. I mean, obviously not everyone was like killing their family, but on the first day of Christmas, we kill them all. Such good one-liners in here. And then this one on the... Wait. Oh, no. Maybe I saved that for a different one? Oh, yeah, I saved that for the humor one because that was funny. On the 12th... Okay, this is, I guess, also humorous too. But on the 12th day, the policemen make their way up the drive, now snow sugarcoating the ground, surprised to feel their cheeks brushed by lush, drooping tree leaves in winter. They look up and see they are not leaves at all, but fingers belonging to the bodies which hang from the trees, draping over branches, their limbs dangling. I mean, come on. This book is so funny. Yeah, for sure. And she also, I mean, I think I have this quote up later, but she tells you that she sees things. She tells you that she doesn't quite know if something's happening or if it's a memory or if it's something that will happen. And then she even says something later that makes you question even more her ability to tell the story. Oh, yes. Yeah. So it reminded me of like a Bloody Mary Poppins movie. So this is, yeah. So, okay. So she just casually drops this crazy lore of herself and you're just reading it going, wait, what? And then she never describes, I mean, I guess sometimes she describes stuff, but you just get her biting into the flesh of animals, talking about demons inside of her, talking about portraits laughing, hearing bells ringing, waving at people who aren't there, licking kids' fingertips, killing a deer. She has just skin from the skull of a bird that she's playing with at one point. You don't even know where she gets it. She just casually mentions it. Then she licks people's faces, she tastes their moles, she eats paper, she bites horses, she argues with babies and slits their throat, and she keeps dead babies in her room. I mean, there has just never been a book that so casually mentions these things. And I think also that this is a representation of the Victorian era too, because it's just so normal to see these things that it's just so casually mentioned. And then, like it's not abnormal for them to have like excessive death around children. So I think that's my best guess as to why she just so flippantly mentions these things. But I was cracking up reading this. And this killing of a deer thing, okay, so they come across this deer, for those who haven't seen it, and at first they think maybe it's dead, and then they realize, oh, it's alive. And then she picks up, I think, a rock and beats it to death. And she says, when you come across an animal in pain, the merciful thing to do is to kill it. And Andrew, the young boy, says, but it didn't look to be in pain. And she says, oh, but it was. It was. I wiped blood away from my cheek with the back of my hand. All living creatures are. Oh my God, she's lost her shit. I love her. Oh, I could totally, no, I could totally understand why you would not love that, the children thing. Um, but I think also like think about how common that was in the Victorian era. And then I was looking up different things too, and I found this. Oh no, did I X out of it? No, I think it's this one. So something popular in the Victorian era was called baby farming. Sorry if I don't mean to upset you or anything, but it said it was often associated with Victorian era. It refers to the practice of taking in unwanted babies, often for a fee, and then neglecting or killing them rather than abducting them. So when she's talking about her life in that, I don't even know what you would call it, like a daycare, I guess. That was a thing that happened. And just thinking about what people could have gotten away with at that time, and then not even to mention like the lack of healthcare and stuff and sickness, a bunch of illnesses that were popular at the time, that were around at the time, smallpox, tuberculosis, cholera, scarlet fever, typhus. I mean, just what an insane time period to live, you know? I can totally understand why it wouldn't be for you. But I don't think that it was there just to be gross. I think all of this was to show life in the Victorian era. Yeah, so many times throughout this book, she just casually mentions sucking on people's teeth and not knowing if it's hers or not. And then you're just like, wait, can we go back to that? And then she just moves on to the next thing. I honestly, I loved her. Oh no, I know the time zones are a pain, but I'm glad you're here now. Oh, interesting, Richard. I do want to talk about her relationship with the sister in a minute, which I think is what you're talking about, the her sister or not mom. Oh, yes, I love this. It's a reminder of how fragile the human mind is, and by extension, how frail human existence is. I love that. Yeah, it's in everything. It's in the dresses they wear, it's in the medicine that they're taking. Like that lady is putting, I forget what she called it, something with an L. Maybe you guys can remember. But she's putting those drops in her eyes that can cause her to go blind. Oh, man, there's just, yeah, death absolutely everywhere. Um, Oh, interesting. One of the most prolific serial killers ever was a lady who ran one of those Victorian nurseries. Is that. I think I'm thinking of someone different, but I think this is different from what you mean. It's not the lady that killed young girls and like bathed in their blood, right? Yeah, that's that. I mean, could you imagine? That's absolutely horrendous. Yeah. There's so much about this that I was just like, what is freaking happening? Yeah, I've already read that guy. And all throughout, like you said, everything is surrounded in blood, and same with her entire perception of the world is just dark and gross. Even when she's talking about seeing swans, arguably very beautiful creatures, and she says a shock of bloody orange and serrated like the garden shears sewn to their faces with thick black thread. That's how she's describing the beak of a swan. Just everything is ugly and dark. And I enjoyed this. Okay, guys, this is where I freaked out because I went back and looked. And we have this scene where she's on a walk with the children and they find, is it called a cuckoo bird? A cuckoo? 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 Anyways, she says, one is a cuckoo's egg. See how two are blue? And the speckled one is a shade of brown. And then Andrew says, the brown one is ugly and fat. Okay, keep this in mind. And she says, the cuckoo is a brood parasite. The female lays her eggs in the bird's nest. When the cuckoo chick hatches, it kills its nest mates. They have the urge to kill as soon as they are born. And at the very end of the book, Andrew turns to his mother and he's talking about Winifred and he says, she's a cuckoo bird. She tells you at the very beginning what this entire book is about, that she is the cuckoo bird. She's going to go in and murder everyone. She is this parasite. And I thought it was funny that he says the brown one is ugly and fat because that's how she's described in the book. A lot of the time people make comments about her weight or her looks or whatever throughout the book. Isn't that crazy? Did you guys pick that up when you were reading it? Yes, this is the word. Because I didn't realize it until I went back and I was looking at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, she told us from the very beginning, this is page 38, from the very beginning, what exactly is going to happen. Oh, I liked this. Yes. Yeah. That's a good way of describing it. Like very stoic, very nonchalant about everything. Oh, I just bought The Lamb by Lucy Rose. So I definitely will read it. Does that give you kind of the same feel? One of the girls I follow on Instagram recommended this and I was like, I'll pick it up. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that though. Laudanum, made of opium and alcohol, and you just drop it in your eyes. No big deal. Crazy. Oh, okay. Yes, that's I think who I was thinking of because I do remember that she was fancier. So she's a countess. The girl that bathed in blood. And it's just crazy. Like, Richard, you were talking about the, now I can't remember his name, that serial killer. That you could just get away with being the most violent criminal unless you were caught in the act doing it. I just can't imagine how much horrendous stuff happened back then. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We definitely started with the prologue and talked about how interesting that is that she tells you from the very beginning. No, you're totally fine. From the very beginning that, yeah, the Victorian era is just draped in death from absolutely everything. It's in their clothes, it's in their walls, it's in their paint, it's everywhere. Okay, I'm definitely going to read Yeah, I have it right there. I have a whole huge book haul right here. And that is one that I read or I picked up recently, so I definitely will read that. Isn't that crazy about the bird? Did that blow your mind? I thought that was neat. Anyways, yeah, we have that breaking of the fourth wall. Curious how you guys felt about that. How did you feel about her talking directly to the audience? Did you guys like that? Or did it kind of, because I know sometimes breaking the fourth wall can take you out of the story, and sometimes it can enhance your experience of the read. So I'm just curious how you guys like that, if you thought it was weird, or if you enjoyed it, or how you felt about it. Oh, this is an interesting take. I liked it breaking the fourth wall. It felt like it matched her madness. That's interesting. You think she was incredibly insane and talking to a non-existent audience. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, she was waving and talking and hearing people that weren't there the whole time. So, yeah, that makes total sense too. And then what did you guys think about her having the foresight that she would be hanged? Or did you just think she didn't have a plan, so obviously she was going to be punished? Or, I mean, didn't it also say something about women being hanged for. Now I can't remember. But I think there was some mention in there about women being hanged for something just in that society in general very easily. So maybe she just accepted that fate from the beginning, knowing that as a woman she would be persecuted regardless. I mean, she deserved it. Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. I hadn't even considered really what that meant about her sanity, was her just being like, I'm gonna wink at you, reader. Yes, dear reader. That was nice of her. You appreciated the introduction. Oh, interesting. It reminded you of Funny Games. Huh. I do enjoy that movie. I know that I am maybe in the minority, but I really do love Funny Games. I know that movie pisses a lot of people off. That is so funny. I also was wondering why it took place on the moors too. I kept thinking about this because the only book that I can think about that takes place on the moors, and it's a big part of the story, is Wuthering Heights. And in that book, like, you know that Friends episode where Phoebe and Rachel go to school and then Rachel's like doesn't know the answers, and then so Phoebe tells her, and then Rachel is like, oh, I think the moors represent Heathcliff's wildness. I kept thinking about that throughout the book, and I was thinking, I mean, I hate Heathcliff Moore, don't get me wrong, and I actually really loved this character, but I don't know, I kept thinking, like, why the moors? It's like an area of, it's not trees, it's very low vegetation, and it's often really rainy and I guess gloomy, isolated. Maybe that's how she felt in her life. I don't know. Oh, I like this too. That the breaking of the fourth wall allows the reader to witness the events as a guilty pleasure. Because I do think that she does try to make us be like, well, no, I have a reason for doing this. You know, not, I don't think that we feel sorry for her, but I think that she does feel like she is there for a reason. And also, did you guys know? So I mean, I think it was kind of obvious that the guy was her dad. How did you guys, because I remember, I can't remember who it was. I think it was on Patreon someone said this, and I'm not sure who it was on Patreon or if they're here, but someone said something about, now I want to go back and look, that they figured some stuff out, but other stuff surprised them. Did you guys, was that like a twist for you, or did you guys assume it was her father? Oh, this is also interesting. Enjoying knowing what the outcome would be. Because, yeah, she doesn't run. She doesn't try to deny it. She's just like, yeah, I killed everyone. Because Moors are spooky. Yeah, that's also, I mean, yeah, just like what better place for the story to take place. That's very true. Love the breaking of the fourth wall. It felt like she was on a mission from the start. Absolutely. She had a plan and she knew how it would end. Yep. And she was just like, this is it. I agree. I did enjoy it. Oh, this is an interesting theory. It could be her diary that she wrote before being captured, like when she was staying in the house for those days. That absolutely could be. Oh, I don't remember her saying the story would be sold and repeated. Dang, I wish I had highlighted that. A serial killer couple that disposed of bodies in the moors. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure, but I don't know who they are. Hello, welcome for any new just arriving people. Yeah, and like the second that the couple was saying, the husband and wife were like, "Oh yeah, well our last nanny left without so much as a word." I was like, something's going on here." I think that she did a good job of hinting at it, but I think that him being the father, yeah, I think I didn't know it right away, but I think she gives you enough hints. Oh, jeez. American Werewolf in London. I haven't seen that in so long. Oh, or explaining her actions to a court. I don't know if my assumption is that she was just caught and hanged, but maybe that's not accurate. Maybe there were courts, but it doesn't, I don't know. I guess that was just my assumption that they found her there and they were like, let's hang her. But that very well could be that it could be her explaining what happened. Oh, is this the serial killer couple? Ian Brady and Myra Hindley? Wait. Oh no, I don't want morbid images. No, thank you, Google. Oh yeah, they're literally called the Moors murders. In Wait. I don't even know where Moors are. Besides, are they only in the UK? Or are they everywhere? I have no idea. I don't think there's any Moors around me. Are there Moors in the US? Maybe that just might be a Europe thing. Oh, yes, there are individuals. Wait, not Moors. Like the location. Google, hello. It said, Google's so stupid. It said, yes, there are people who have the last name Moore. That's also not what I'm asking, sir. I don't know. You guys tell me. Is that just a Europe thing? Yeah, the first thing I was just typing in their names and it was like morbid images. I'm like, no, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was around the same time because she talks about Charles Dickens in the book. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. That they would write the stories about it and stuff out of morbid curiosity, which is also interesting because that's why we're reading the book. I'm so excited to see this movie, guys. Little girls everywhere will know they can aspire to kill too. It's not only men that can do it. Kind of in that sense, gives you a little bit like Mayfly kind of feel too. Ooh, I would love to live in a place that had lots of folklores and ghosts and oh my goodness, this looks so pretty. Ugh, I'm so jealous. I live in LA, the ugliest town on the planet. Well, I don't live in LA. I live outside, luckily, outside of LA, but it's yeah, we don't have any I mean, we don't have history like you guys have, you know? Oh, that could be too. Yeah. Yep. Okay, well now I'm coming to the UK to see. You guys have a very, very pretty land out there. Yeah, we just don't have as long of a history as other places, especially here on the West Coast, you know? So we don't really have any. The only, like, even cool old landmarks that we have are. What do you call those? Missions. We have a lot of old missions out here, but that's kind of it. Like, you guys in Europe, you have castles. I feel like you have all the good stuff. I'm always jealous of other countries' history. Or even like the East Coast, I feel like has much more, has cooler stuff than we do. I also like this too when they're talking about what's it called? Phrenology or whatever, where they, that's pseudoscience where they measure people's head and think that they know how the person is. It says, Miss Naughty, your skull appears to possess impossible angles. The numbers seem to vary every time I measure you, as if something were undulating under your skin. Gross. And then she does talk about how she kind of wears her like smile as a mask, or her expression as a mask. She's trying to fit in with people. Oh, yes. Are you mocking me? No. Then why are you still smiling? I curse inwardly and adjust my expression to one of grave regret. Human expressions are like hides I've peeled throughout life, rolled into a ball, and slipped over my skin. She's an interesting, this one. Okay, the humor in this book, though, you guys, it was so funny. Using obituaries as toilet paper, I was cracking up. What is wrong with this book? I mean that in a good way. And then there's also this part where it says, Mrs. Abel says that you read books backwards, back to front. And she says, hardly a punishable offense. And then the other maid lady says that the maid says that she's seen you squatting over swans at dawn naked. And then she says, I'll admit, that's a difficult one to explain. Oh my gosh, she freaking cracks me up. I laughed way too much. I kept bugging my husband. I'm like, can I just read you this line? Can I just read you this line? I also loved this. Even the obituaries carry a festive cheer. A woman is murdered on the doorstep by two men posing as carolers. A man's head is speared by an icicle falling from a roof. A whole family is poisoned with arsenic poured into a... Man, I can't remember. I googled how to pronounce this word. Oh, my phone's on silent. Speak, bitch. Oh, the volume's all the way down. Wassail. A wassail bowl. I just thought that was so funny. Even though obituaries are cheery. Look how everyone's dying in such a cheery way. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, isn't that crazy? The subject of phrenology, because even that, it came up and I'm like, oh yeah, I've definitely heard of that before, but I obviously don't know much about it. And then I got to Googling, I'm like, man, this is so interesting. And it's just crazy it's crazy to read what people believed in that time period. I remember reading, what was that one? Oh, that The Wager by David Graham, that story, the true story of that ship. And a bunch of the sailors obviously got scurvy, but they didn't know what was causing scurvy. And they could come to the conclusion that when they were out at sea, sailors were getting scurvy. And when they were on land, they weren't getting scurvy. So they would go to islands and bury the sailors up to their necks in soil, because in their heads they're like, well, this makes sense because there's something about the soil that's stopping the scurvy without being able to understand, make the connection that it's the fresh fruit that they don't have access to. And so reading this book was kind of like that. I like books where I can learn while reading them. But yeah, it made me laugh. Oh, that's another Victorian thing, to find grim stuff cheerful. Yeah, I think that's if you think about how death was just accepted, like even when children died young, they were just like, it is what it is, because it was so common back then. Yes. And yes, yeah, for sure. Um, the treatment of women, certainly. Which also, this is another random fact. Actually, maybe it doesn't matter. But yeah, it is interesting. It gave, yeah, men an excuse to mistreat them. Yes, for sure. Um, yeah, that's why I wrote. I'm like, their heads are the same size. And then I'm like, he's her father. Oh yeah, and also she says, "How do you know they're even yours?" to the children. And then here's another thing too. He wanted the her mom to kill her because she was evil. That's what he kept saying, right? And so, is he evil? Did he pass down this genetic trait? Was she really evil? And then you have so many other things, like she got bit by someone with rabies and she was just fine. That doesn't seem normal. And then she was fed drugs from her infancy. And then you have all these other contributing factors of like poisoning and illness. And so you kind of almost can't question why she is the way that she is with all this crazy shit that they're exposed to. Didn't they used to put mercury in the lining of men's cat hats and then they would just slowly lose their mind from that? I mean, I don't know what era that is. Oh, I said mercury and hate. I meant hats. It just says in the past. Man, Google, you're really not helping me here. For hundreds of years, hatters used mercuric nitrate on rabbit and beaver felt. That's crazy. In the 18th and 19th century. And I believe we're in the 18th century, right? No, we're in the 1800s, I mean, in the Victorian era. Oh, yeah. Richard, I forgot about that. She's just creepily sneaking in. And she is very, uh, she has a lot of like sensory stuff. Like she likes to watch people. She likes to taste people. She likes to smell people. She likes to suck on people's teeth. She's just all around a creepy human. And I adore her. Yeah. Female rage, yes. Yeah, and same with like Mayfly. Yeah, for sure. Um oh, but I haven't read this one, Hungerstone. Interesting. Did that one give you the same kind of feel as this book too? Where? Oh, yeah. So that's what I was wondering. Do you guys think that she was passed down this evil trait? Did you think it was a culmination of everything that she's just experienced? Or do you guys think the bitch is just crazy? Because who could come out of all of this stuff being normal, you know? Or was the dad just saying she was evil? But no, but even the pastor was saying she was evil. The dad was saying to kill the baby. But even he was a pastor, right? I think even he was saying that she was evil. So, well, yeah, I guess if you're finding dead babies in someone's room, you're probably going to question their sanity a little bit. I don't know, though. How can you be normal with all the stuff that she experienced? Oh, and that was another thing too, is it wasn't just her. You just said a few minutes ago that everything was just so like stoic and nonchalantly discussed. even the rich people are talking about torturing their own wives, kids stuck in chimneys, and how they're just going to light a fire to get them out. It wasn't even just her that was saying the most outlandish shit that you're like, what is going on? I think it was, yeah, just the whole time period. Oh, interesting. She had modern day strength facing horrible times, a time where they were much more suppressed. Yeah. Um yeah, to me this book felt a little bit like it was, I mean, it discussed a lot of things, right? Like the fragility of women. There's the classism, the baby farming, and then just like being surrounded by death. And I see her kind of like an embodiment of the rage of that time period, like kind of how we would experience the sexism, the classism, the infant death mortality rate, like all of these horrible things that luckily we don't have to experience. She kind of felt like the personification of the injustices of that period, if that makes any sense to me. And so she's like an anti-hero, but I'm also kind of rooting for her in a weird way too. And I also loved that she wasn't this like intellectual fatale type of woman. Like she wasn't this, she didn't go in with this grand master plan of murdering everyone and getting away with it. And she wasn't this like hot, seductive type of woman, which is, I feel like, more what we see when we do encounter, or at least maybe not in modern day times, but previously. And like, I think the first thing that comes to mind is like Basic Instinct, like that type of woman. And she was the opposite of that. And I loved that. I love that she could be anyone. And maybe there's a little bit of her inside all of us. And I think she appeals to me more because of that. Like she wasn't the cool girl. She wasn't someone that you, I don't know, like I feel like in a lot of books and movies where the women do possess that, like you were saying, that female rage or the injustice or whatever, they're almost like the cool girl. And she wasn't that. She was just some fucking weirdo sucking on people's teeth. And that made me like her more. Well, that's also interesting too, because like she's teaching French and I don't even think she knows French, because she says that the girl says something in French and she's like, but it's not French because I'm not even teaching her French. So that's, I think, also part of the whole era is you could just get away with anything. You could just abduct babies and lure people out and they're never seen from again, and who would know? I saw her as less, I'm curious why you feel that she was like an intelligent, like Hannibal Lecter type of character, cuz to me she didn't seem more intelligent than anyone else. Do you mean by her actions or like her intellect? I can see, I think I know what you mean by like she felt more of a modern day character with more sense maybe than the average person in that time period in the book. Oh, very calculated. Okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, she seemed less to have a plan. Like we were talking about, she is the cuckoo egg in the nest. She's just like, I'm gonna go murder everyone, and that's what my plan is. And I'm gonna get hanged for it, and that it just is what it is. Oh, okay, yeah, interesting. More street smart than book smart. Okay, I can see what you mean by that for sure. Yeah, like she definitely had the ability to get the position, to find the man, to do the research, to know he was her father, to do all of these things. So I could see definitely what you mean by that. And that leads me to this question. Also, making a girl eat a leech that fed on her esophagus and killed her. And then she just says, "Oh, yeah, I put on this brooch that my mother was buried in." There's so many lines like this where you just read them and then you stop and you go, wait, hold on. Can we go back to that 1 second? I would love to sit down and have a conversation with this woman. The quote on this back cover says, Victorian Psycho asked how anyone could live sanely in a time so systematically cruel. And I think that that is the perfect description of this book for me, because that's exactly what I mean. Like, how could she be sane with all the shit that she went through, with the being fed? Like, wasn't her that lady feeding her like opium as a baby or something, and then just like, yeah, all the shit that she experienced and went through, and everybody in that time period went through. Like, how can you be sane in that? I loved that quote from the back. But then she also does say, don't be so gullible, because at one point she does stab Drusilla. I don't even know how you pronounce this. Drusilla? Yeah, probably. She's like stabbing Drusilla, and then on the next page, she's like, she's fine, don't be so gullible. And then I have to ask you guys this. The nurse or the maid that she's obsessed with, was that the French maid? The woman that she just keeps talking about how pretty she is and is dating the gardener guy? Was she French? Because at one point, she kills that woman and hides her body. And then when she's at the very end, there's one woman and she says, like, basically, you're safe. She's like, I'm not going to kill you. And then she says, go back to France. And I'm like, wait, was that the one that she killed? I don't know. She had me questioning myself. And then I got to a point where I'm like, what actually did happen? Oh my gosh, I hope that it's like a really dark comedy. And you better believe when that movie comes out, I'm rereading this book again. Oh, okay, good. This is the French nanny is the one who fell over the stairs. Yes. But was that so that wasn't the one that she killed in the beginning? Because I thought it was the French nanny that she kept talking about and seeing. There's no way I'm going to be able to find it. But the one that was obsessed with the gardener. So it made me question, like, wait, did she not kill her then? And put her up in that room? But maybe I'm misremembering. And maybe the French nanny was someone else? I don't know. Okay, a different one. Okay, yeah, too many maids, too many servants. Maybe I got them confused. But that just made me be like, why is she saying don't be so gullible? Now I don't trust anything this bitch is saying. All right, we got to talk about Drusilla, guys. Which does bring me to my question earlier. Is this some evil gene that is passed down from the father? Why is Drusilla like that? Was she evil? And I also want to know, did she do Winifred dirty in the end? Was this planned? Because Winifred takes, that's her name, right? Winifred? Now I'm questioning myself. Yeah, Winifred. She ends up taking the sole responsibility of everything. Actually, now that I think about it, that's kind of interesting to analyze as well. Like the older generation of women take the brunt of things more so, like so the younger generation can be more themselves. Does that make sense? Anyways, curious what you guys think about the whole Drusilla thing. I don't know what Black Adder is. And Drusilla will be a better serial killer because she can make herself cry. Yeah, she definitely has the ability to kind of fit in more. And then even with this last line, now that I'm thinking about it, this little girls everywhere will know they can aspire to kill too. It's not just men that can do it. So that's also interesting as well. But like, what are the odds? What are the odds that they've both lost their mind? You know? Or maybe it makes sense. I don't know. What do you guys think? Oh, I thought it was like a movie or a book or something. Oh, he's so cute. I freaking love snakes. I love snakes so much. They're so freaking cute. Okay, so you think it's the father's genes that make them both crazy? Oh, it's a show and a snake. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Drusilla could definitely go on to be the next protagonist. What do you guys think? Is she the protagonist? How do you feel about, I guess, yeah, because Drusilla, but then also, how do we feel about the main character? Was she evil? Were her actions justified? I think that's kind of when we were saying she breaks the fourth wall. I think she does think that her actions are justified. But do we believe that? Oh, I didn't know this. Each season is based on a different time period. Oh, but the characters are the same. Whoa, wait, ancestors of the previous season. That is neat. Wait, oh, a comedy series. Interesting. I've never even heard of that. Well, I mean, you can interpret this a million different ways because it doesn't necessarily have to be his genes. But if we are talking about Victorian era, and if we are going along with the idea that phrenology is a respected science, as it was at the time, and their heads do match, doesn't that imply that they are similar or have similar characteristics? And wouldn't that imply that Mr. Pounds, or whatever the fuck his name is, oh, my thing died. 1 second. What? Okay, I think this is like super. Oh, it says low latency, but I feel like it's super far behind for some reason. The stream today. Anyways, like my camera hasn't even died on the screen yet. I am so far behind. Why am I so far behind? Oh, am I? Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, never mind. I don't know why. Never mind. I figured it out. We're good. It's all good. Okay. Oh yeah, the body in the chandelier. Yeah, this movie, I'm really hoping, because this director doesn't have a ton of credits behind his name, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. They could definitely prove themselves and make an amazing movie. But reading this, I was like, if this is done right, this is going to be such a good horror movie. So I cannot wait for the movie to come out. And like you said, there were so many. Yeah, this book was so visual. You could just see everything being played out in front of you. Oh yeah, okay. The ending was like a murder boot camp for Drusilla. So she finally was able to kind of give in to her dark side. And then the added benefit of her now inheriting everything. And actually, I guess it does technically work in her favor, right? Because everyone just cared about her brother and she was just thrown out. So, yeah, I guess in a way she benefits more. Let's do a poll here. And then is there anything else that you guys want to discuss? Any of your favorite quotes or anything that you feel like I skipped over? Let me know. Okay, I can only do 4. Yeah, I feel like that makes sense. Okay, starting the poll. Let's see how you guys feel about the final results. I think I like the book more now. I think that comment or that review left, it does kind of stay on your mind. And you do think things over more. And I liked that. Sure, it was about the Victorian era, and it was definitely about all the things that we've discussed before. But it also was just about the cruelty of this woman too. You could definitely find more meaning in there, and I think that there are comments on things, but it wasn't this like big elaborate story. Sometimes it's just blood and guts to be blood and guts, and that's fine too. And so I liked that it wasn't trying too hard to be anything, and it was different without feeling like it was trying too hard. I feel like sometimes the female rage books go a little, you're just like, oh, calm down, Not all of them, but there are some. And sometimes they're done right and they are just the most amazing books. And this one I feel like was done right. Um, yeah, exactly. If phrenology is such a big part of this and he is so into it, then yeah, it would maybe imply that they had the same characteristics. That's exactly what I was thinking. So, yes, also, this is a great point too. Because you pick up the book, that's what I told Brian, because I just started this like 3 days ago. And I picked it up and I'm like, man, I really hope that there's enough to analyze in this book to have book club be entertaining. Because sometimes with books, there's not too much to dig under the surface. I'm like, I really don't know, what if there's just nothing to talk about? And so I was nervous and I get to the end and I have all these quotes and all this, stuff written down. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, she did such a superb job. And even some of you said before you wished that there was more of it. You wanted more. So yeah, I think she did a really good job of making a full story. It didn't feel, I mean, it felt short and it felt like you didn't get all of the information that maybe you wanted. But I liked that. I liked that she was just like, yeah, just sucking on someone's tooth. And then you never hear who the fuck's tooth that was, or why she buried it, or where it came from, or it's just, yeah, little bits and pieces. Like how Mr. Pounds was kind of creepy towards her, you mean? Yeah, the cat's just she's gonna do whatever she wants. And I will say, I'm going to be completely honest, this character a little bit did remind me of someone that I know. Just a little bit. Oh my gosh, it's a kiss. Relax. Oh, Mrs. Pounds. Yeah. Yeah, Mrs. Pounds was a bitch. She was such a bitch. But also, like, a nanny comes in and your husband's seems to be obsessed with her. I can understand where the jealousy and stuff would come from. But I also thought it was funny that she was just like, oh, I'm going to give you a dress. Too bad it's poison. Oh, yeah. So then, yeah, that also brings me to my question with Drusilla, because she didn't really seem to mind at the end. She just told it again, like you guys said, so stoically and straightforward. She was just like, oh, yeah, Drusilla said it was all me. She changed she chained herself up or tied herself up or whatever. Why are you staring at me like that? You're going to attack me? I can't tell if she likes me or she wants to kill me. Yeah. She reminds me a lot of this character in the book. But anyways, so yeah, she told it so straightforwardly that I was like, it doesn't seem like there's any sort of animosity toward this character. Like, I do think that she did feel a kinship to Drusilla, and I do think she was just like, I'm gonna take one for the team. But I'm curious if you guys felt the same way. And yeah, like you said, she takes everything in stride. People are so cruel to her, and she's always being treated lesser than by everyone, by the guests, by the family, except for maybe with the exception of Mr. Pound, but there seems to definitely be an ulterior motive there too, you know? It's not like he's just being kind for kindness sake. I don't know. I think that with the popularity of a book, there definitely is more of a market to write a second part. But I also feel like this writer, I feel like she knows what she's doing. So I don't know that she would just write a book just for the sake of writing a book. But I think if she had a good story, maybe there would be a second part. How interesting would that be? Yeah. Oh, I can see the poll. Oh, okay. So it seemed like most people either loved it or liked it so far. Did everyone vote? I'll leave it up for a little bit longer. And by the way, if you dislike this book, totally fine. If it's not for you, completely fine. We all have different things that we look for in books. So I don't want anyone to feel like I'm going to judge them for for not liking the book. It's completely fine. And even reading this book, I thought, ooh, this book is not going to be for everyone. The next book club book, let's talk about it. Well, I'm glad to hear that The Lamb and Hungerstone are both good books, because I have seen Hungerstone around. I haven't purchased, wait, did I buy that one? No, I think I bought a different book by that author, though. So maybe I'll read that one first. But now I'm for sure reading The Lamb next month. So thank you guys for picking out the kind of similarities between these two books, because I am all for reading books. And also, if you guys have any suggestions of other books that remind you of this one, too. Yeah, I don't think that she has many emotions either. She can't cry. She has to paste a smile on her face. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's just, she's just going off of instincts. Oh, yeah. Yes, them just living in the houses with corpses. Yeah. This book was so funny. It's so funny. Okay, let's talk about next month's book club book recommendation books. Wait. Yeah, that's the only bad thing I feel like about the library with newer type books. I mean, I'm not sure how new The Lamb is. No, it had to have been new, right? Because I think it was only in hardcover, which means I don't know if it's not the same in the US, because actually talking, or in the UK, but talking to other people from other countries, it's not like this. But in the US, we get hardcover books first, and then like a year later, we get paperbacks. But then I was talking to people from other countries, and it's reversed there, which I thought was so interesting. A book based in spring. Yeah, do you have any suggestions? Because sometimes I do the, oh, no. Sometimes I do the book, summer horror, winter horror, whatever. But I always have a trouble with spring-based books. So, okay, let me write down these suggestions so I don't miss anybody's. Oh, there's cat hair absolutely everywhere. Look at how cute this is. My 90s alien obsession. Isn't that adorable? Is, like my little self saw this and was like, we need this. Okay. Let's do, okay, so nestlings. The penultimate truth. Looking forward to the buffalo. What's the buffalo hunter? Oh, the buffalo hunter. Oh, this is his new one. This isn't a number in the series. It's a standalone, right? Yeah, okay. Cool, cool, cool. The Buffalo Hunter. The only spring book I can think of, and I don't know even if it's horror. And I don't even know if it's spring. It just like the cover kind of looks springy. Nope, that's not it. Never mind, I can't find it. Don't know what it is. Okay. Lost in the Garden. The Watchers. It's almost boba time, guys. This one, are you talking about the Nick Cave book? Oh, and also, what was the one from Richard? What's the one that from Patreon? Do you remember? Wait, it was one that I had. Oh, Wake Up and Open Your Eyes. That is a request from Patreon. And then did you want to recommend Camp Damascus? Is that what you were saying? Okay, so the Nick Cave book. This one is and the ass saw the angel. Right? No, I don't think I'll nominate anything. I don't really have anything in particular. And these seem, these have all been books that I've seen. Actually, except for this one, I haven't seen this one. Oh. Wait, is this the right one, Richard? Wait, was that you that recommended this? Oh, The Hound of Baskerville. When I Googled it, it says it's the third of the fourth crime novel. So it's a book in a series. Is that correct? Oh, geez. Why? Every time. Why? Ma'am. But let me know, Richard, if you've read that The Hound of... Is that one that is that going to be difficult to read because it's part of a series? Yeah, Marilla always wants to be the center of attention. Like if that one were to be picked and it's the third one in the series, will people be confused? Let me know. And let me know, were you guys recommending the Camp Damascus one, or were you just talking about reading it? Because I will add it to the list, but I just want to make sure. I don't think I've seen this. Or, I don't... If it's called this, then no, I don't think I've seen this. I've never heard of this. And I've never read any of the Sherlock Holmes books. I've seen like some, maybe a movie or something, I don't know. Yay! How did you enjoy it? How did you enjoy the ending of Victorian Psycho? I know I did a pretty bad job at reminding people of this book, so and reminding when it was going to be and stuff this month, so my bad. Oh, good, you liked it. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh yeah. So it seems like from the poll, wait, that most people either liked it or loved it. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely put Camp Damascus on there. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll then. Which, can you be a little modest, lady? I'm actually very surprised by this because most of the time that we've done that poll, there have always been some it was okay or not for me votes. And this one in particular, I thought would be higher in that because it's just not going to be for everyone. So I'm actually really surprised that most people either liked it or loved it. So cool, then that was a good pick. Oh, okay, the stories aren't linked. Okay, good to know, good to know. You can recommend one. Do you have a specific one that you want to read? Yes, it's so funny. We were talking about the humor in it, and we were all talking about the parts that made us laugh. It's a funny one, that's for sure. Oh my gosh, thank you for reminding me. So, House of Leaves is the December book club pick. The reason we picked it so early is so we would have time to read it. So, we're going to do reading sprints on here every month where we just sit and we'll read together for however long. And then at the end of the reading sprints, we're going to talk about each section of House of Leaves. So, if you guys want to read House of Leaves with us for the December book club, next month, I don't have my little thing in here. Next month, we're going to talk up to page 80 of House of Leaves. So you only have to read 80 pages in the next month if you want to read it with us. Yeah, I figured it would be better if we did it this way because one, it's a long book. It seems really intricate. That way we can slow it down and break it down and just discuss it. And if parts are challenging, we can kind of help each other through those parts. And also because we have additional books too. So I feel like it would be kind of mean to be like, oh, that's next month's book club, you know? So yeah, that's why. But if you guys I'm gonna do a book haul because I got a lot of books recently. For my birthday, I just got gift cards, which I'm not complaining about. That's a great thing. But so I was just like, I'm going to the bookstore. And then obviously I didn't do anything on my birthday. So Brian was like, do you want to go to the bookstore? And I was like, okay. So yes, I will be doing a book haul video, but my next video will be the 2024 wrap up, which I know it's almost the end of March. I'm still trying to catch up, but yes, that'll probably be, I'm thinking next Sunday, Richard, the unboxing book haul sort of thing. And I bought some weird stuff, so I'm excited to show it to you. I thought it would be, honestly, it's honestly for me too. It's for my own benefit because I've been so nervous to read House of Leaves, and it does seem so you know, scary. So I thought it would be a good way that we can bounce ideas off of each other if we get stuck or something, because I'm sure there will be a lot of questions that I have. Yes, we're deciding the April book. And yeah, so these are the ones that I have so far. Let me know if I skipped any. Let me know if you want to add anything last minute. We have Nestlings, The Penultimate Truth, The Buffalo Hunter Hunter, Lost in the Garden, The Watchers, The Hound of Baskerville, Wake Up and Open Your Eyes, and The Ass Saw the Angel, Camp Damascus. I read Camp Damascus, but I didn't read the other Chuck Tingle book that came out yet. Oh, it's a novella? That one I haven't even heard of. Oh my gosh. Have we already been on for 3 hours? No way. No. Wait, why does this say that we've been on for 3 hours? We haven't. That's weird. Anyway. Any other last minute suggestions? Any other thing that I missed? And I think we'll probably do a vote here, and we'll get maybe the top 4 or 5, and then I'll bring those over to Patreon. Patreon will vote for the final one, and then I'll let you guys know probably by Wednesday of this month. Oh, and I've been trying to do it every month, so we have a full month to read it, but that won't happen because in 4 weeks is Easter. So it'll probably be the 27th of April instead of the 20th. But actually, my book club is also going to meet that day, so that's going to be a long day, but that's okay. So that means that the House of Leaves live stream will have to be the 13th. I guess we could do a Saturday too, but I just feel like people are busier on Saturdays, so maybe we'll do the 13th for that. So then you still have 1, 2, 3 weeks to read the 80 pages for House of Leaves. And also, if you guys just want to come to the live stream and read with us, we won't ruin anything till the end. So we'll do our reading, and then at the very end, I'll tell you guys, okay, we're going to talk about House of Leaves now. So if you just want to come in and get some reading done or hang out and chat or whatever, you're more than welcome to. And then I'll let you know when we talk about House of Leaves. But yeah, next week is going to be a little different because of, I forgot about Easter. Does everyone celebrate Easter at the same time? I know there's a lot of UK people in here. Do you guys have Easter on the April 20th? Or do you guys even celebrate Easter? I think that's everyone does. I don't even know. Okay, where were we? Okay, so usually have, what? Interesting. Fish and chips on Easter Sunday. I'm trying to think. I don't think that there's I don't think we've ever had dinner or lunch or anything on Easter. I think it's just all about chocolate. Easter is the same day. Okay. Okay, then yeah, then I won't do it on Easter. So we will start a poll. We're going to have to do April Book Club. That is not how you spell club. I'm just going to put in, wait, we can only do 4 at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shoot. How are we going to do this? Oh, you know what? I'm going to take out this one because this was the Patreon suggestion. Cool. Nestlings, the penultimate truth, the buffalo, hunter, why are there 2 hunters, lost in the garden. Okay, here's one poll, and then we're going to do another poll after that. So we're going to whittle these 9 suggestions down a little bit, just so there's not 300 books for Patreon to pick from, you know? And then we'll go from there. And then I'm going to go get a boba because it is so hot today. The only reason I'm wearing a beanie is because I got a very bad haircut. It's like 80 degrees outside. And I'm going to get a boba and I'm going to sit outside and read, and it's going to be a wonderful day. Do you guys have any plans for your day? I know actually for a lot of you it's nighttime, but anybody have any plans for the rest of the day? Oh, this is so interesting to see everyone's traditions. I love that. I mean, fish and chips sound delicious. I would like some of those. A roast lamb. Yeah, I figured that people celebrated, but I didn't know if it was the same day because it changes every year for us too, but I don't know how it works. Yeah, an Easter horror book. That would be good. What is Pancake Day? What is that? Yeah. Yeah, I think the day's over for a lot of you guys. Yeah, okay, see, that's more up my alley. It's like a barbecue. I have no idea what Pancake Day is. Possum. Oh, that's good. A nice horror movie before bed. A day just for pancakes. Oh, see, I'm not even quite sure what Lent is. Oh, I think that you give up something for like a certain amount of time or something. Oh, I don't think we do that in the US, but I'm also not religious at all, so that could be a thing out here too. I have no idea. Okay, make sure you vote for the books in there. Because we have to do one more vote after this too. So get your votes in if you care which book we read. And okay, yeah, I didn't think that. Well, I've never heard of it before, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen out here. Marla, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. Then I'm going to take a picture of this poll, and then we're going to do one more poll after, and then that will decide which books I bring over to Patreon. Okay, start poll. April Book Club, Morella. We did 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one is The Watchers. This one is The Hound of Baskerville. Saw. I think Saw would be capitalized. I don't know. Angel. And the last one is Camp Damascus. Okay. I may have typed some of those incorrectly, but go ahead and vote for that guy as well. And then we'll take the final ones over, and then I'll let you guys know probably Wednesday what the, gosh, Marilla hair everywhere. I've heard of that one. Wait, maybe not. Maybe it's, I'm thinking of a different books. Oh yeah, I've seen this one, this hex book, but I have not read it yet. Oh, see, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, Easter has never been religious for my family. And same with a lot of people I know. Like, we just do the hunt eggs, eat chocolate part of Easter, not the religious part. Get your votes in. Get your votes in. Oh, I don't know. You guys, where do you find the poll? Does it show up at the top of your chat? That's where it shows up for me, but I'm not sure on your side what it looks like. That's actually a good question. Let me see if I can see it. Oh, it might be different on screen and on computer, but for me, it just popped up. Were you able to find it? Wait, I just realized that your name is My Best Friend is a Dingo. That is so funny. I always say Marlo looks like a dingo. She's like a mixture of a fox, a dingo, a coyote, my larger dog. But that's a funny name. Wait, you can have pet dingoes? That's a thing? Do you live in Australia? Are they only in Australia? That's what my mind says. Oh yeah, just most of Australia. Wait, how do you have a dingo? I want a dingo. Oh, you had a pet dingo. Can you do, okay, I'm sure it's legal now. Okay, that makes so much more sense. That is so freaking cute. That's adorable. I want a pet dingo now. Will my husband let me get a dingo? But I swear my dog looks like a dingo. I would grab her, but she's kind of large, but look at, doesn't she, I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to see. Hold on, maybe I should bring up. See if you can see. Does she look like a dingo? Doesn't she, with her big ears? Not you. You're just evil. That is so cute. That is so freaking cute. Because okay, so from my understanding of dingoes, which I might be wrong and this might be a different animal, but I think that dingoes are domesticated dogs that had been released into the wild that became wild again, if I'm not mistaken, right? So they're probably more, you could train them better than some animals. That's at least what I read. And I might be mixing it up with a different animal, but that's what I think. But anyways, yeah. I think Marlo might be part dingo. Not really. She's from Korea, so they probably don't have dingoes there, but that is so cute. Yeah, so what I read, which again, this might be wrong, but I read that they're different because they're, like, they look different because they're not, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. What animal was that? I thought it was a dingo. Maybe I'm wrong. Genetically distinct from domestic dogs. Okay, maybe I'm just a big fat liar. Don't trust anything I say. I thought that they were just domesticated dogs that were released and became wild again, but maybe that's wrong. That is so cute. I love animals so much. Okay, so I'm glad that you enjoyed this discussion. This was actually so much fun. I had so much fun. I learned a lot. Thank you for anybody who came. I really enjoyed this book. This was a good pick. So I'm leaving it up to Patreon's hands to see what our next one would be. Everyone voted. We're good. We're all good. I'll take a picture of this guy. And then I will let you know for sure what the next one is, the next book club post. So it'll be up on here on the community tab posting. I'll post that, and then I will also post on Instagram too to let you guys know what the next pick will be. Oh, interesting. Maybe that's where I heard it then. That is so freaking cute. I'm so jealous that you had a dingo. Yes, anytime. Thank you guys for coming to hang out. I really love these. I could sit and talk about books all day, and it's really nice to be able to, talk about even differences of opinion in the same book because we all read things differently. So I had a lot of fun, and this was awesome. So yeah, I'll post the next book club book for you if you want to start reading House of Leaves. You'll have to read up to page 80 by the 13th, but also we're going to get together and read for probably like an hour and a half maybe before discussing it. So even if you're not up to page 80, you can still come and join. And then again, if you're not reading House of Leaves, you can just come and chill and we'll read a book together and chat until we get to that part. So I think those are the only updates. I'll post a video this week, probably on Thursday. And otherwise, yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And I hope you have a good rest of your evening. I'm going to go get a boba and read some books. Bye, guys.